You know, there's nothing like being in the green room. I love being in the green room. And please don't send me a note because there's no green. I know. But we're still in the green room. It's where all the magic happens. We're here with the one and only Pam, P.R. Perry. Now, Pam, I know you know the world knows who you are, and there's this bio, but I don't want to read the bio. So can you take a moment, if you will, and tell the world who is Pam P.R. Perry? And more importantly, what are you up to these days?
Woo, thank you, Che, for having me on your show. I love the happy entrepreneur. We are happy. We are happy that we're here and things are going good. So, who I am, I'm a publicist, I am a publisher, and also I'm a podcaster. So, there's a lot of P's in my name, Pam Perry, right? So, actually, my maiden name had a P in it too. But I've been doing what I've been doing for about 3 decades, and I've worked with the gamut of brand known names from corporate names from McDonald's to Ford to a lot of automotive suppliers. But I really found the biggest passion working with authors and speakers. So I've worked with people like T.D. Jakes, Dr. Cindy Trim, Bill Winston, a lot of Christian authors and speakers. So I've done that for the last 3 decades. But my real joy is really helping people build their platform so they can be those brand names that they want to be as a speaker or an author.
Now, can I just address the elephant in the room? I mean, this is great. You said Pam, and it's like P.R. Perry. And I know there are folks out there, they heard the word PR, and they're thinking, is that public relations? And it means different things to different people, and you work with all these folks. Can you take a moment? And we're in the green room, so folks, I know you're glad you're here. Isn't this where the magic really happens? I'm going to ask her, what is her definition of PR? And number two, she wasn't going to do this, but I hope she'll answer the question. And what is her view on the world about where PR is today and how it can help you, the entrepreneur, or you, the speaker, or you, the author, or you, the trainer, or you, the network marketer watching right now? You've got the expert. Let's find out what her answer is.
So PR means public relations, and then people kind of think that it also means publicity. But PR is the whole gamut, and it's one wheel in the spoke of marketing. But a lot of people ask me, what does PR mean? And in the current age we're in, people think that it means page rank. I guess PR 2.0 could mean page rank. When someone Googles your name, what comes up and where are you ranking? Okay, so that can be PR as well, because when people first know you, they're Googling your name. So, but it really means PR, page, it means public relations. All right, so how do you relate and how is your brand really perceived by the public? And so the key word of it though is really relations. Just like social networking used to mean networking, public relations still means relations. So you're relating with your stakeholders, you're relating with the media, you're relating with customers, anybody who is a customer or a client of yours or a potential, someone that is part of your, how do I say it? Someone who is going to perceive you. So public relations means that. And so a lot of times when people say, well, I like PR because I like people. Well, you do need to like people, but it really is a journalistic type of tool. And so I always say a publicist is someone who is like an inverted journalist, meaning that I do stories for clients to place in the media. I may not own the media, but I'm an inverted journalist, meaning that I have to put the story together just like a journalist would, a story with all the elements, and give it to the media. Sometimes they run it as is if you're a really good PR person. Sometimes they'll run the story as is. You'll put out the segment, they'll run the segment just like it is, or you'll put together the story and they'll run the story as is. So a publicist is a person who has journalism training that has good relationship skills because you have to sell, which is part of the marketing process.
Now, let me ask the question. That was dynamite. I mean, thank you so much. And we're behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about something called Couch to Podium, which is an amazing event that Dr. Laura Lewis is doing in Atlanta. But I just want to follow up with one question that might be on your mind, since she does this PR stuff. Why not pick her brain, right? Which is, why do entrepreneurs or small business owners or speakers or authors or coaches or trainers or even network marketers, why do they have this resistance and they don't spend time focusing on PR like they should? Like, you just stress how important this is. So I would think everyone right now would be like going online and finding Pam P.R. Perry because this is what she does. Why do people have resistance to it? What holds them back?
They don't know what to say and who to say it to.
Mm.
They don't know what to say and who to say it to. So just like anybody, if you're going to talk to someone, the more you know about them, the more you will have a likely to have a conversation with them. You know what to pitch them, you know what to say, you know how to say it, when to say it. So a lot of entrepreneurs, because they're in their own bubble, they don't know the media, they don't know radio, TV, and print, or they don't know what the. So say you're trying to pitch a story to Newsweek. Who at Newsweek are you going to talk to, and what are you going to say? What will make them interested in your story? So the less you know, the more likely you're going to be unconfident about it. So that's why publicists are really that bridge for people who don't. They know what they know. They don't know the news, and then the publicist is the person that bridges their message to take it to the newspapers or radio or TV station. So they just don't. They just don't know, but they can learn.
You know, I love it. I was juiced up for this age. I mean, I couldn't wait. Like, I was so pumped and fired up because we're going to talk about this, and she's going to relate to how speakers can be seen or be found or find their message and get it heard. We're going to get to that when we get to the main segment, but I wanted to talk to her about this event coming up, Couch to Podium, with Dr. Laura Lewis. And for those folks that are out there, you can go to couchtopodium.com, couch to T-O, podium.com, and get all the details. It's coming up right away, so it's coming right up. But take a moment, if you would, Pam, P.R. Perry, and talk about what's one of the reasons why you decided to give your expertise, to share your time, to share your experience, and be a part of this amazing event that I can't wait for. It's going to be super incredible. Why are you doing it? You don't have to, but you decided to be there and to do this. Why?
Well, the couch is from the standpoint that she's a therapist, right? So I have a lot of therapists that I work with, people who deal with people's mental health, whether it's their relationships, their general life. So those are the people that help people. And I'm called to help people help people. Whether it's their ministry, it's their calling. So Couch to Podium is someone who, in order for people to know who you are and who you serve, you have to be on a stage. You have to be on a platform. You have to be at a podium. So that's why I'm really bringing my branding, PR, and marketing experience to help Couch to the Podium, because there's a lot of therapists, a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists, people who work in the mental health field. How should they brand themselves so that they get the speaking engagements, to get on the stage, to get to the podium, to get to the mic.
Ooh, get to the podium, get to the mic. You see how Pam, P.R. Perry be dropping them P's? She just dropping them. D. Bowden's out there, says hello. She want to let you know she's in the house. Regina Lady is in the house, wants to let you know she's in the house. Karen is here and says hello to you, by the way. Beth, it is always a pleasure. Josh, you're meeting for the first time, but you're in for a treat. With that being said, we're going to get started. We've got a show to go. When we come back, we're going to talk about this whole, how do you take the speakers, this message you have, and how do you really be able to elevate it and be found and be heard? We'll be back in 5. This is my favorite part. Y'all know this. 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. Yeah.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I believe you have 3 visions for the people you were called. I believe first vision you have is you have a vision for yourself, the way you want to live. the home you want to be in, the organic food you can't wait to eat. I know. Or the car you want to go riding down the road in. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. We're going to talk to Pam about getting some revenue, okay? And then there's a second vision you have. I always like to share this. You have a vision for the people you love the most, your loved ones. Mother Dear is 73 years old, and I love spending time with Mother Dear. Took her out for physical therapy the other day, and she was telling me all the stuff she's going to purchase online. Now, how many of y'all know it's my credit card? Okay, come on, something. It's okay, Mother. She's probably watching. I love you. But some of you out there, you want to write a check to send your kids to a school of your choice. It takes resources. Some of you want to write a check for someone's health care or insurance. Some of you just want to contribute to a cause you believe in. It takes resources, which means it takes revenue, and you got Pam here that can help you with that today. And then the third vision you have, undoubtedly, Michelle Moore or Tashika out there, is you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. And you don't have to be a faith believer. I happen to be a believer. I don't want to pose my faith on you. Believe with who you want. But in the book, there's this story about Noah. And I want you to imagine that you're Noah in the Bible and you're ready to get started. God's giving you the experience. Thank God Pam is here. Giving you the expertise. You're going to really love Pam. And right before you get started, there's a knock at the door. You're like, what's going on? You're Noah. And Noah says, what's up? Excuse me, Noah. Over here, there are no hammers in the house, Noah. No hammers? No big deal. I'm not worried about that. I might as well confess over here, there are no nails either. No hammer, no nails. Rule number one, you never panic, no matter what. Jeepers, what's going on? What's up, Deborah Gardner? What's going on? Excuse me, Noah. There's no people and there's no wood. Good luck. And maybe that's you. You can't believe anymore. If someone tells you to believe again, you're gonna throw them out the window, right? You don't need the resources. You need revenue. You need someone to know who you are. And this morning, this evening, this afternoon, Pam Perry can do that. So let's welcome Pam to the stage. What's going on, Pam? How are ya?
Hey, thank you, Che. I'm doing good, man. You got enough energy for all of us. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, you bring out the all-stars. You got Deborah Gardner's watching right now, and a Hall of Fame speaker. Dwayne's out there watching right now. So many folks are tuned in because this whole thing about how to build a business as a speaker, how to really make this thing happen, it's just really just went viral. And so my question to you as we get started is, when you talk about a speaker, what's some of the challenges that speakers have making sure people know who they are, like even being found? What's one of the challenges that are out there for speakers today?
Well, they know their own message and they know what they know. They know their topic. They know their signature speech, but they don't know how to market themselves. And they feel sometimes that if I market myself, I may look like I'm boasting. I may look too prideful. It looks like it's all about me. It looks too egotistical. So they go with this thing in their head like, okay, so how far should I push the envelope in terms of promoting myself? Should everybody I see just say, hey, I'm a speaker, here's my card, bam? Or should I just spam everybody and just tag them in all my Facebook posts? I mean, so there's just certain things that people have. They don't want to seem like a used car salesman that I speak, but the way that really make yourself known in a very credible way is to use public relations, is to use PR, is to use the media as a vehicle that will tell your story, to tell what you speak about. And it's just a way to really find a way, whether it's TV, radio, print, magazines, newspapers, podcasts, but to make sure that you're telling your story through another lens other than you saying how great you are. You want other people to really give you the shine the light on you and just say, oh, well, here's a person you need to know about through a lens of, I just had a speaker that was on Good Morning America through their lens, okay? Because she was on a TED Talk, she was on these other things, and she is a great speaker. People are booking her now. I had someone call today and say, well, what about her? Is she available? And it's because they heard her on other platforms that were credible, that made her credible. So just really leveraging her own platform so that other people can know who she is. So I think the thing that people don't know how to market themselves. They just feel like they're hawking, like I'm hawking a book or I'm hustling. But it's not. You're really telling a story, and you really know how to do that by knowing the media.
Telling a story by knowing the media. For those folks out there, do me a favor. For everyone that's watching out there, here's how you can help another speaker, another entrepreneur, another single mom or single dad or little boy, little girl, big boy, it doesn't really matter how you can help someone, hit the share button. Like, pay this message forward. Pam's okay with this. Pam Perry is okay with this, okay? So hit the share button. You can share this into your private Facebook groups. Copy the link if you want to. Put this onto your page. Pay this message forward because we believe in the giver's economy. The person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. That's right. The person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. And Pam Perry picked this topic, the 3 Ps to propelling your speaking career forward. She said 3 Ps. So obviously my first question got to be, all right, Pam Perry, they want to know what's the first P. So all you out there right now, that's the next question. Pam, what's the first P?
You know what that is? Publicity.
Publicity. Well, tell us a little more about that.
So you need publicity. So sometimes you can get publicity just by having a book. And so that's news. You want to know what's newsworthy. So something that's new. So if you're launching a book or the book is coincide with something in the news, you'll see on CNN all the time and you'll see different guests. It's like, wow, how did they get on there? They had a book and you didn't. And the book has to do with what they were talking about. So they are the expert. They are the authority. In the word author, in the word authority is the word author. So they were an authority on that subject. So publicity can take its form in many different ways, but the main thing is to know your message and matching it with the media. If you have a message that matches with the media, you have a perfect, beautiful relationship where you can be their go-to expert for every single thing. So say you're a diversity, you're a diversity speaker. So you want to know what kind of magazines, what kind of TV shows, what kind of other podcasts that need your message. And so you're providing content for them. Never feel like I'm bothering the media, because if your message matches what they're looking for, you're helping their job. So I have a lot of media friends that say that the way they can help me is by knowing my beat, knowing what I cover, and making sure that you're timely and relevant when you're providing me information.
I like that. Now for Renee that's out there, Renee Antoine, who's watching right now, she sent me a note earlier, said, I can't wait for this episode. Now, we've done a lot of episodes. And she's like, Shay, I can't wait for this. She's out of Philadelphia. I think it's Philadelphia. And she's watching now. And one of the questions was, can you still use a book? And it has nothing to do with the second P, but can you still use a book if you're a co-author inside of a book? So the book doesn't belong to them, and normally we don't take questions, but I think it's a relevant question. The book doesn't belong to them, but they're part of an anthology. Can they still use that as part of publicity? And she wrote down publicity right now, by the way, so she's out there right now.
So this is a thing, and because I have a lot of friends that do anthologies. Anthologies are great, but having your own book is better. So in an anthology, you have one chapter, but whoever put the anthology together, they're the ones that's really getting the shine. They're the ones that put it together. So think about Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. They're the ones, right? There's about 100 people in the rest of the book.
That's true.
We don't know their names. So,
true.
Okay, I'm just saying that it doesn't take a lot to produce your own book. Do the work and produce your own book. Now, we have to start somewhere. That's fine. And probably your friends and your family, they love that you're in the anthology. But the news media, you've never seen like someone who's in the anthology be on the news, major news. Real. You've seen Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. They produced the anthology. It's theirs and you were in it, but not the people that were in the anthology. But it's a good place to start. So I'm not putting any shade on it, but it's a good place to start. So if you have one chapter, then you probably have a book as well. So you just need to pull that out, because what it is, you want your name on the spine.
You want your name on the spine. So everyone out there, do me a favor, look right below the video and write the word publicity. So first P is publicity. Publicity. I got it. Publicity. I went to DC public schools. I can do this, by the way. I can do this. Davina Lyons is out there watching right now. She says, hi, Pam. Great to see you on here. She's out there tuned in, listening to you right now, and a number of folks. Take a moment, if you would, and talk about the second P. The first P was publicity. And for you out there watching, if you haven't hit the share button, hit the share button. If you haven't hit the watch party button, hit the watch party button. The way you can give a digital applause right now, to Pam PR Perry is just to pay the message forward. Now, I know if you're watching on Amazon Fire or if you're on Apple TV, you can't do that. I get it. But those that are watching right now live, pay this message forward. Share it with someone else. Okay,
Right.
what's the second P?
So there's a lot of P's. I have this whole thing. But the second P is platform building. And so it's kind of like what this young lady said. She says, oh, I'm in the anthology. Can I get publicity? Well, your platform, that's now part of your cake of your platform building, so that you were in an anthology. So that's good. But you also need other pieces in order to build your platform. So think of someone who is running for Miss America, Miss USA, or whatever, and they're judging all these different ladies and they're all beautiful, but they want to know, what is their platform? What do they stand for? What is their main message? Because once they have this platform, they're going to go out to the world and they're going to share this message with the world. So what is your platform? How many people are you reaching on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, on your website, in your social, on your email, on your podcast? You're building a platform, you're building a tribe, you're building some interest and anticipation for the book that you're going to be doing on your own with your name on the spine. And that's what, when you go to a publisher, they're going to always ask you. You can have a great story that's like so phenomenal, but they're going to say, that's really a good story. What's your platform? They're going to ask you, what is your platform? So they want to know, what is your main message? How is it going to affect other people? And how many people are you reaching right now? Because that's what they are buying. They're buying how many people you're going to reach, because they have to sell the book. If you're not a best-selling author that sells a lot of books, you're just a best writing author that just wrote a book. It's nice, but nobody bought it. So people love best-selling authors. Sales is key, not just best writing authors. So you have a platform, and that helps you with the sales, because marketing and PR and branding, all that has to do with sales. If you're not selling, it's just a hobby. If you write a book and no one buys it and it was just for your edification, that's really like a journal.
Man, I'm loving it. I like that.
So, you want to market it and really build a platform so that people will buy the book, anticipation of it. So when you think about T.D. Jakes, he had a book. I worked on a couple of his books. He built anticipation for the book. By the time he launched the book, it was selling out. All right. So that's one of the things. Cindy Trim, she built anticipation about the book to her tribe, to her email, on her podcast, on her shows. She was building and dropping breadcrumbs along the way. So by the time the book drops, it's a bestseller. And that's the formula. So by having a book having a chapter in an anthology, that's a start, because now you build on that. So people are familiar. The other thing that will help with your platform is if you have bylines in other publications before your book. Or if you're an expert, if you're a speaker, you need to have bylines in other publications. Say you're a columnist for your local newspaper, or you were on the cover of Speakers Magazine. I mean, you need to have other things that show you that position you in the right light. So.
No, I'm loving it. This is like, for those folks that are out there, do me a favor. As you're getting golden nuggets, just drop a 1 in the comments below. Just drop a 1. Like, you're getting these golden nuggets. You're picking up what she's putting down right now. You're smelling what she's cooking in the kitchen. Just drop a number 1. Just drop a number 1 right below. Renee wants to let know that she's in Chicago, Illinois. So I apologize. She's in Chicago, Illinois. She wants to be represented.
Yeah, Chicago's like the twin sister to Detroit, right? So yeah, we love Chicago.
Now I know you're going to get to some more P's, another P here, but there are folks out there that are listening to you and like, wow. I mean, Pam PR Perry got it all together. She's just a rock star. She probably had no problems, no challenges in her life. She never found herself in a situation having to use these skills. They might want to know, what is the backstory? Like, who in the LL Cool J is Pam PR Perry? So if you could take a moment and just kind of frame and say, look, Shane, it's a little bit about who I am in my journey for those folks that are meeting you through the power of these fiber optic lines for the very first time. Take a moment and tell me a little about who is Pam Perry.
So you heard the saying where people will buy ugly houses, right? Because they could buy the house and flip it and they're going to make money. But people will not buy ugly books. So I have this heart. I've had it my whole life, even as a kid, that when I saw an ugly book, meaning like an ugly book cover, I would just feel a certain way because I knew how that author probably took the time, the effort, and the energy to put into this book, but nobody was buying it. And I would be the person that will buy the book and really give them some constructive criticism on how to make it better. And typically, it was always African American books. So I was always in Black bookstores and I would look at the bestseller books, and there were the brand names, but then there were the other books that were in the lower part of the shelf and maybe in the back and kind of dusty and dirty. And it was like, why aren't these selling? They have great stories. What could I do? Because my background was in TV and radio and print. I've always come out of media. So I've worked for the Detroit Free Press. I've worked for major nonprofits. I've worked at Salvation Army. So I've always had this background, professional training, working with major corporations in marketing, PR, and media. But when I go to these books, and I know that they probably were life-changing, but ain't nobody buying these ugly books. And there's some things that I know that they needed to do. So that's how I got involved in the literary world, because I would go from going to book signings and I would just sit there and the author would just look really forlorn, like, oh, nobody's really coming to my book signing. And I would say, you know what? Did you send out a press release? You know what I think? Maybe if you just kind of change the title. The name of this book is kind of, what is the book about? Why don't you do this? Or, do you have a forward for your book? Or do you know you misspelled the word forward? It's not spelled right. I mean, I would just kind of like slowly give these tips. And eventually my passion became what I really ended up doing. So 20 years ago, I started Ministry Marketing Solutions. And I've worked with, like I said, some of the brand names of the gamut in the author speakers game. But it really started from a passion to really want to help Black authors and speakers really up-level their game, because I knew what it took, but nobody was really helping them to get there or being straight with them. Because you have your friends and family say, oh yeah, this is a great book. And it's like, no, it ain't. That's why you don't sell no books. How many books you sold? 20. All right. And you think that's good. So I really know that books sell by speaking. And so definitely speaking in authors those are the things that you should do together. But then also too, there's other things that people need to do online digitally. So the third P is position.
Well, the third P, yes. But before we get to the third P, for those folks that are out there, we're getting to the third P right now. You hit the share button, you hit the watch party button, and when you hit the share button, just write serve others, hashtag Pam PR Perry. That's what she's doing right now. She's serving. She's here to serve. She's here to give. Just when you hit the button, something pops up, you got to write something there. Just write serve others, hashtag Pam PR Perry. Now, before we get to this last P, because I know y'all like, Shay, I want the last P. Don't forget the last P. I'm not going to forget the last P. But, there's this transition that took place from this whole book project that she had going on to actually having this magazine. And so I want to take a moment before we get into the third P, if it's okay with you. And the good news is I don't have any script. I don't have to ask any certain questions. This is so cool. Pam is so cool. And I'm curious, take a moment and kind of share this magazine you have that's dedicated to speakers and why. And what's the significance of it? What's the importance of it? Why does it exist today? So that's the question. Why does this magazine exist today? And who does it serve?
Now, that's the other thing. It's for Black speakers, because as a publicist, you're pitching different authors and speakers, and you can't get media until you have media. So it's kind of like you can't get a job until you had a job, right? So I was like, okay, these people are really good, but the general market press wasn't giving them the shine that they deserved. They just weren't. And so I always had a love for magazines. I've actually started 2 magazines in my lifetime, and they've always dealt with inspirational type of things. So I said, if no one's going to give them shine, I'm going to give them shine, and I'm going to put together the magazine. So the magazine, whether it has Ed Gordon on the cover or Dr. Stacey NC Grant, they both happen to be blue. I said, I'm going to give them shine, and we're going to put on the back cover people who are doing things, going places and doing things. And we would actually share this out to people who would normally not pick them as speakers. So So we would send them to conference hosts or share them in our marketing and PR because we knew that they were good. And if we don't do it for ourselves, who's going to do it? I learned that from my mentor. So white people aren't going to save us. That's George Frazier's line. So we have to save ourselves. And so by really putting together a magazine that serves Black speakers and promote Black speakers and give them the shine, that was my mission. That was my moniker. It was about 3 years ago when I wrote on my vision board at the beginning of the year, and I said, what is it I really want to do? I said, I want to produce a magazine. And I had an opportunity. Someone came to me and said, hey, let's put together on this magazine, Speakers Magazine. And it's been going for 3 years, every single month.
Now, you can't leave them hanging. I mean, we're going to get to the third P. You can't leave them hanging. They're like, okay, Shay, I know you're going to tell us how to contact her, but what about this magazine? Like, you can't just leave them on the edge. That just wouldn't be fair. So take a moment, if you would, and we'll get to the last P. Don't worry, all those speakers and authors and coaches and trainers and network marketers and all your subject matter experts. Let's find out where we can get this magazine. And I want to do that now. Don't worry, she'll tell you how she can connect with you in a few minutes. She'll tell you all about the people she works with and who she works with. But right now, we got to find this magazine. So, Pam, PR Perry, where can we find the magazine?
All the issues are free online. You can get them at speakersmagazine.net, speakersmagazine.net, and you can download them free. And within the magazine that's online are the speaker reels. So there's videos embedded in each of the magazines as well. So the speakers are highlighted on the inside, and then also too, their speaker reels are also there as well. So if you are a speaker like this gentleman here, Mr. McLean, then his reel is there too when you punch it on the thing. So I wanted to make it so that it was interactive, and all of their pages are there on Speakers Magazine as well.
Wow.
So yeah, you can go to speakersmagazine.net, and it's free.
Speakermagazine. What did you say?
Speakersmagazine.net.
Speakers with an S, magazine.net. Someone do me a favor. I know y'all watch on different platforms, different places, different spaces, but wherever you're watching now, just look right below the video and put www.speakers, is that right? With an S, magazine.net. Do that right now. Let's go ahead and pay this message forward. That's one of the things you can do. And here's the good news. Pam's not asking for a Cash App payment right now. She's not asking for a Zelle payment. There's no wire transfer. This is something you can do from your heart that you can serve other people. And isn't that what it's all about? Mm-hmm. You can help others get what they want. All right. Thanks a lot for sharing that. I just couldn't wait. Crystal Cunningham is out there and says, well, we just answered your question, Crystal Cunningham. She says, how can I get the magazine? Well, I just answered the question now. There's probably a time delay, but you'll see it. Speakersmagazine.net. That's where you go get the magazine. And Crystal, do me a favor. Put that right below the video so someone else can get their question answered. We love you, Crystal. Mwah! She's an amazing individual down in North Carolina. Okay, the next P. You can't leave us out. What is the next P? You had 3 P's, so do a quick recap. What was P number 1?
Publicity.
And P number 2?
Platform building.
Platform. She has a whole lot of P's, by the way, but right now, I wish we had more time, but we're going to get into at least 3. And what's the third P?
Positioning.
Ooh, positioning. I like this one. I can't wait. Tell us about this.
So positioning is how people really understand your brand. How are you positioned in the market? What do people say about you? Are you a person that is serving people like caviar or chitlins? How are you positioned? So what is the positioning? Where is your target audience and how are you positioned in their mind? And so I always tell people a lot of the marketing materials that you create have to do with your positioning. And so giving a good example, we're doing our video right now. How is this position? How is this show position? You have the lower third down there. You had an intro. You have a professional outro. You didn't just come on here just some janky little show, right? You're just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
you got a it looks like your blue Yeti there. It's like a positioning. So all the elements, even when someone calls you on like maybe your phone and your phone, so say someone calls you on your phone and you answer it and your phone is cracked and looking all crazy and it's like, ooh, they ain't got it going on, right? Because their phone is cracked and looking crazy. But then what if the person who answers whose voicemail, so you don't answer it, so you get a voicemail. So how is that voicemail positioned in their mind? Is it like, hey, what's up? Drop your name. I ain't here. Okay, well, that's not a real professional business. So every single detail of your brand creates a certain position in someone's mind. From your email signature to even your email name. I've heard some people have some email names, or it's like, well, you know what? Don't just cash at me. No, you send an invoice. It shows a different position of someone who's on the way to making millions versus someone that's cash app. Like I cash at my daughter. Right? So you
I like that.
It's like, so a lot of these things have to do with positioning. When I see people now, we're in this season of COVID, right? And so people are trying to figure out how to look good online and that sort of thing. And it's something just as simple as really taking the time of how you're going to be positioned. If you want someone to pay you money and you're only online, you want to have almost like a little mini TV studio in your home. You want the right lighting. You want to make sure that your background doesn't have books falling over on your head, that the dog is quiet. I mean, even something as simple as silencing your phone. I mean, so all that has to do with positioning, because people want to understand that you're a professional. You're a professional speaker, author, coach, expert, thought leader. All right. If you're a thought leader, then you're leading some thoughts. You're leading some thoughts. You're a leader. So if you're not positioned that way, then how are people going to trust you? People do business with they know, like, and trust. And so one of the ways that they trust you is every touch point that they come in contact with you is a check, that's good. Check, that's good. Oh no, that I don't know, that's kind of janky. Okay, that's good. If someone hand me their business card and they have marked off, oh well, I don't use that phone number anymore. Here's a new number. What?
Yeah.
It cost you $30 to get some new business cards, dude. Really? You gonna scratch off the phone number? Huh? So yeah, so Black people, we need to get it together. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I know my people. And sometimes we can be janky, and somebody need to tell them, you need to quit looking so jacked up and just be professional. I can't tell you how many times when I said a business card, really, you could have went to Vistaprint and got them for free. Really? Don't scratch off a number and then hand it to me, because I'm going to throw it away. And that's how the media would treat you too. If you do that to the media, if you're not positioned correctly, they're not even going to allow you to be on their platform. If you send them a bio that is not well written, or has typos in it, or you send out a press release or a media pitch that's not well written. I've seen press releases written in first person. And so the media will look at this like, what is this? This ain't no press release. This is an article. So, yeah.
No, so well said. For those folks that are out there, you listen to the one and only Pam, P.R. Perry, and she's breaking down at least the 3 Ps, to propel your speaking business to an entirely different level. For those folks that are out there right now, as they're listening, right, by the way, we have this segment, Pam, that's called Today is My January 1st. And for those folks that know what I'm about to do, you can go ahead and look right below the video right now and write those words. Today is my January 1st. For those folks that are hearing it for the first time, today is my January 1st represents not a date on the calendar. We don't wait for that date. We create a January 1st moment throughout the day. That's a do-over. It's a rebirth. It's a your past doesn't equal your future. It's a fresh start. And there are probably about 1,000 moments throughout the day. And anytime you can make a decision, that decision can forever change the trajectory of your life. That's a January 1st moment, right? So you make a decision, you're going to work out, or you're going to sit back and you're going to binge watch and watch Netflix. That's a January 1st moment. You decide you're going to be like my sons. I have 2 adult kids, right? You're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs and french fries, and you're going to have ketchup and mustard, and they put hot sauce on theirs. Or you go to the refrigerator, you open it up, and inside there's some kale. That sounds good. There's some broccoli. It gets better, don't worry. There's some Brussels sprouts. That's a January 1st moment. It's what you're putting inside you. So my question to Pam P.R. Perry is, y'all are all writing those words. Today is my January 1st. When you hear those words, Pam, today is my January 1st, what goes to your mind? What are you thinking?
I would say my January 1st, I'm going to be more intentional with my connection. So 2020 taught me that life is really precious. There were some friends that, because of COVID, that they died. I'm 60 years old, so a lot of my friends are 60 and above, and they were African American, over 60. They were part of that. You hear the statistics. Well, these weren't statistics. These were some friends of mine that actually died. And what was really sad is that we couldn't go and really go to the funeral and see our other friends and really grieve together and just reflect and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna be more intentional about really reaching out to friends more often. My mentor, George Frazier, always says that he makes it an intention to reach out to 5 people every day. And I was like, whew, George, that's just, he's been doing this for years, right? That's why he's a power network. I was like, whew, 5 people every day. I'm like, and so then I thought about it. I said, if I had done 5 people every day, when someone is sick or you hear that someone dies, because it was one part of the time where I was scrolling through my social media feeds, and it was just like someone died, and it just really sent me in such a dark place. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I just talked to them maybe 3 months ago, or maybe I meant to call them last week, or I should have called them. And I'm talking about friendships, not like people that you call for business, because obviously we're making sales call, but just be more intentional with your relationship. People that you really love, people that make you feel good, people that, just bring you joy. And so that's one of the things that I want to do is just be more intentional about my relationships. Uh, one year, I don't know, it was one year where in particular, all of my friends that had birthdays, I decided that I was going to take them out for breakfast right before they got busy with whatever. And it's like, we're going out to breakfast, we're going to the pancake house, and we're going to have breakfast. And so if everybody had a birthday that month, then it got to the point where, okay, we're all going to have breakfast on this particular day for the birthday. We're celebrating all the birthdays for the month of October, whatever it was. But that was fun. And then we got busy, busy and busy. Social media makes people busy. Everything just got more busy, and then we stopped doing it. But now, since COVID, everything is slowed down, and now it's like, what was really important? Relationships. So really taking time for that. Not just inboxing someone, not just emailing them, not just texting them, but really picking up a phone and calling them. That's one of my things that I want to do.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing. For Renee Denise Fowler, who's out of Texas, who's watching right now, she wants everyone to know that Pam Perry is the truth. She's watching right now. She wants everyone to know that you're making it happen, by the way. You talked about today is my January. Huh?
I love Texas.
Texas is great. Folks right now are writing today is my January 1st. And they're excited like they were back on December 31st. After a couple of drinks on the back of a napkin, they wrote down those goals, and some we know how that ended, right? And so my question is for you is that sometimes there's truth inside of truisms. And you may have heard this phrase before that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. But having said that, what do most people struggle with? And I've got both hands raised high, by the way. They struggle with consistency. So my question to you is, what do you share with your clients in order for them to be consistent? Or you mentioned Dr. George C. Frazier's. I'll mention his. I'll put a hashtag. Hashtag stay the course.
Yes, that's true. So say for instance, you start a podcast and it feels really good doing this podcast, and you are out here, you're doing that podcast and it's really feeling good. And then at a certain point in time, maybe it doesn't feel good. At a certain point in time, it's just not that you're not consistent with it. It's just, you just feel a trajectory of something inside of you, like I should be doing something else. I want to give people the permission to change. If it doesn't feel good, if you're only going to do 20 podcasts, fine. Close it. That was that season. Go on to something else. So do what feels right for you. Don't be so rigid with yourself, because you can beat yourself up and not feel like I'm doing the right thing. But be led, be spirit led, whatever that you're going to do. Because if it feels good, you're going to be consistent with it. If this is what happens on January 1st. People decide, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to run 5 miles every day. Well, that don't feel good. Well, after about 30 days, you ain't going to run 5 miles every day because you don't feel good doing that. Right. So do what feels good for you, that's good for you. and you will be spirit led with that. But don't beat yourself up because you're not consistent. But as long as you pick something else up in exchange for that. So you've been doing the Happy Entrepreneur Show for how long?
A year and a half, almost 2 years now.
Yeah, so 2 years. So it feels good to do that. Now, one day you may wake up and say,
That's it.
yeah, it's like I just really feel a little gnawing in my that the show is wrapped up, and maybe I'm gonna have my sons do it now. I don't know, whatever it is, but it's just like you'll know. But right now you're consistent with it because it feels good. And so that's the thing. If it feels good for you to do it and you know you're called to do it, be consistent with it and don't be lazy about it. But when you'll know in your heart when it's like, I'm not going to do that. Like right now, Speakers Magazine, every single month for 3 years. Every single month. Now, if it comes at a certain point in time where it's like every speaker in the world has been in Speakers Magazine, I guess that's it.
We'll bring it back a second time. We'll go back around.
Now it's time for somebody else to do it. It's not me anymore. Maybe it's my daughter, whatever. It's, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's so true. For those folks out there that are curious, how can they connect with the Pam Perry? And let me frame it if I can for you. There's two questions that may be on their minds that listen to you tonight or this morning or this evening, whatever time they're watching or hearing it. One question might be, who's the ideal client for Pam Perry and her firm? That's question number one. So someone listening, you might be the ideal client for her, or you might be someone that could refer someone to you. So that's question number one. What type of ideal client and who do you work with these days as your firm? And then number two, how can they best connect with you? Or maybe you want to leave them with something that they can walk away with.
Yeah, so I'll start with the second one first. How
Sure.
they can connect with me is PamPerryPR.com. You've been saying Pam Perry, but it's PamPerryPR.com.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It sounds cute either way. So it's like
I'm
it's
sorry.
up
It's Pam Perry PR. Okay, got it.
Yeah, PamPerryPR.com. So they can go there and they actually can get a video that I put together on the 7 things that the media needs in order for you to go on their programs. Okay, so these are the 7 things that the media wish that you would do in order to be on their programs in their newspapers. So they can do that. How people can work with me now is I have a program called Ready, Set, Go, Speak. And it's for people who really want to have a place in the media and on stage. So if they want to be on media places and on superstar stages, they can go to readysetgospeak.com. And that's for people to really know about the brand, all the P's besides publicity, platform, and positioning. But we go through some more as well as publishing, and then there's some other P's as well. But I take people through the whole thing from soup to nuts on how to really work with me. And it's a community. It's a monthly membership community. And it's $97 a month. People can have me twice a month where I bring in media experts and we really talk to them one-on-one, like I do right here, what you should be doing and what you should stop. And I'm really blunt. And so people who work with me need someone who's honest. Like the young lady said, she's the truth. I will tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth. Like, that's not right. Let's change it. Let's get off the Wix website and let's get a WordPress website. So,
I like that. The truth, though, that is the truth. That's the truth. Yeah. You're being, you're keeping it real. You're 100 or whatever they say these days. Always something new.
I want everybody to win, and they can only win if someone has candor. When you really just have some candor with people,
mm-hmm.
and people who are coachable, and people who want to go to the next level. They see people like Dr. Cindy Prim or T.D. Jakes or Bill Winston. They see all these people doing these great things in media and on these stages, but they don't know what they had to do in order to get there. And I tell them what they need to do in order to get there. And a lot of it will take some change on their part, some teaching and training and connections. And that's what I give them in Ready, Set, Go, Speak.
And the connections, I love it. So everyone right now, they're typing right below the feed here. And if you're listening right now, there's 2 sites. There's PamPerryPR.com. That's one place to go connect. And then there is the Ready, Set, Go, Speak. Did I get that right? Ready, Set, Go, Speak.com. Now, let's all open up the site now. Let's just make sure it even works. Sometimes these sites don't work. I know. But y'all go over to the site right now and y'all type in, let's see here.
If my site don't work, I'm going to have a meltdown. I'm like, okay, we just spent too much money on that.
I will confirm the site does work. I have my iPad over here.
Because I use a hosting service. I use WPX, okay, that is for WordPress sites.
Yeah.
I don't use GoDaddy for hosting. I don't use Bluehost for hosting. I don't use HostGator, though sometimes. And I explain to people why.
Mm-hmm.
I explain to people why, because this is the digital age and we need to be online digitally 24/7 without hiccups.
I agree.
Look at good professionals. You got to position yourself. And so don't have, what was it? Somebody told me they had some kind of site ground. I don't know. It was some kind of like offering. You can get up on the internet using anything, Shay. You really can. You can get up on the internet using a whole bunch of Band-Aids and, whatever. But in order to scale and grow and be professional, you need certain things. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money because you can start slow and build. But you do need to know where you're going. Like my daughter is young. She can have a Wix site or Weebly. Okay, well, she's not selling anything. But if you want to actually be a speaker where people pay you thousands of dollars, you can't have a website that says in the corner, get your website free. Really?
Right. Yeah, that's
No.
not going to work. It's so true. It's so true. Done. I love it. I love it. So we're in a segment called Rapid Fire now. And Rapid Fire is we get to ask any question that we want, and you can answer it or you can decline, obviously. It's my favorite segment. Of course, they're all my favorite segment, or we wouldn't do them. But this is really like my favorite segment. And so the question I ask everyone, the question I ask everyone is always, and I love this, is my favorite, which is of all the mentors you've had on this journey of life, what's one of the mentors that you've had that you would share with us, the audience, a golden nugget that you're using, that you're applying because it's shared with you. And all of you out there watching, if you're hearing this for the very first time, y'all can put your hands on. Y'all can lean in. Everybody lean in and put your hand out like this because she's about to drop it on you right now. And we get the benefit from her mentor. Take it away.
Right. So I was about 30 years old, and George Frazier was speaking at an event, and he graciously agreed. I was running an organization called Blacks in Advertising, Radio and Television. I've always been true to my calling on that. So that was about 30 years ago. And Blacks in Advertising, Radio and Television had a career conference. We had about 1,000 students there that were trying to get into the radio, TV, and advertising field. And so he was our keynote speaker. He did not charge us a big keynote speaking fee, but he did say, just have my books there and sell my books. Fine, no problem. I'm the president of the organization. Success Runs in Our Race was the book. No problem, we'll get it there. I delegated it to someone and said, make sure that George Frazier's books get to this event. Well, he comes and whatever. And after he speaks, he gets a standing ovation. People just love him. Oh my God, this is great. And he says, meet me in the back so that so I can sign your book. And so the person who I said, where's his books? They were like, we couldn't get them. I'm like, what? It's like, we couldn't get them. I had to tell George, I said, we could not get your book. I'm so sorry. He said, what happened? I said, I don't know. He looked at me in the eye. He says, always inspect what you expect. I was in tears. I was like, I will always do that. I'm surprised we're friends, right? We're still friends. But that was the biggest lesson. Always inspect what you expect. The expectation that you want, inspect it. Double check it. Even though you delegate it, you still have to inspect the outcome. Because if I had just asked her maybe 2 days before, is everything all in line, I would have known. Didn't know she didn't get them. And we could have made some kind of fast thing that we had to go and buy the books from the bookstore or whatever. I don't know. But we didn't have the books. And the man came here for the reason of selling the books. And so that was one of the main things. I always inspect. And with technology, just like we did before we came on, inspect what you expect. Make sure people download this. Make sure your lighting is right. Make sure your sound. Make sure your Wi-Fi is the right speed. Inspect what you expect in order for it to come out flawless.
Thanks for sharing. So funny. What's one of the lessons that you've learned from a business perspective from this whole, let's call it a COVID pandemic? What's one of the lessons you learned? Because you work with speakers and you saw back on, was it May 19th or May 20th, I think it was, you saw the whole industry shift. They didn't know it was shifting, but it shifted literally overnight, where speaking gigs were canceled, opportunities were canceled, conventions were canceled, and there was so much that happened. And your speakers are near and dear to you, and they're close to your heart. And you saw this whole thing change. So I guess the question we have is, what's one of the lessons that you've learned through this whole COVID-19 pandemic?
It basically, like I said earlier, it's like, when things shut down, you're slow and you can't do the things that you normally do. I was traveling every single month, going with Speakers Magazine, and we kind of made a shift. And we were okay because we were digitally astute, I guess you would say. But what I found was that the speakers that I was working with, they were having a hard time. They could not figure out Zoom. They couldn't figure out how to get the right microphone. They wanted to start a podcast. They didn't know how. They finally decided, like, you know what, now I'm going to get on LinkedIn. I'm going to really try, and I'm thinking, like, I'm going to blog now. I'm like, what is this? We are in a digital world. This is 2020, and you're just now trying to figure out the digital world. So one of the things that we did a podcast called Digital Business Acceleration. Actually, we started last year, and we did 52 episodes. We did 1 year to explain to people how to accelerate their digital business, because at that point when we started, people weren't really listening. But then at a certain point in time, it's like, well, I really do need to get online. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so the digitalbusinessacceleration.com podcasts are there free. And we did it basically to help speakers and authors to really understand what the importance of personal branding is online, how to really put together a website, what kind of elements you need for your website, how to do a podcast, not just have it like sitting on someone else's platform, but have it go through your platform, through your own website, by using Blueberry. And we just told all the tools and everything that they need. And it was like everybody's head was like to explode, because they weren't putting their head in the game before. They were just out talking on stages. But now you can't talk on the stage, and you need to sit down at a computer and figure out how to really find SEO work, make that work for you. Now you're going to listen. Where it's been a thing, social media has been a thing for 20 years or so, or at least 10. Now all of a sudden, now you want to take it in, want to learn about Instagram. It's like, okay, well, let's take it slow. Let's see why we're going to use Instagram. Put it in a strategy for your digital business. Put together an online course, because it's like, well, I heard an online course. I don't know how to put it together. So yeah, so it's been a curve where I was sharing with people the best way to do it so that you don't look like an unprofessional. Position yourself so yes, you do have to make a pivot, but this is how you do it so that you can do it well. And so yeah, this year's been tough for a lot of people who were, quote unquote, scared of technology, scared of Zoom, scared of microphones, and just all kinds of how to edit. There's certain things, and I tell people, I said, if you can't figure it all out, get a coach, work with someone who you trust that can share with you what you need to do. And that's been like really the main thing that I've been telling people to do. Find someone that that you can trust that will show you how to do things. Now, a lot of people are doing other things. It's like, well, I'm just going to get a whole bunch of stuff and put it together and just throw it up against the wall and hope it sticks. No, that's not the strategy. You need, the reason why a lot of this stuff happened this year is for you to sit still and figure it all out so that it works and it flows. Because 2021 is going to be a year of flowing, but you have to have had that strategy first.
Wow, certainly. Let me say a couple of things. One, I certainly admire you. This is the second to last question, and the question is, what does happiness look like for you these days? What does happiness feel like for you? I guess the question is, are you the most happiest these days?
Happiness is, what I just said, like flowing, something that flows, something that you don't feel like you're stressing, that you're striving, it just flows. Sometimes you can think of something and then it happens, or you pull together an idea and then it just flows in such a, I guess you would say, in almost like a magic way. And so I'm really happiness when things are flowing. When they're not flowing, when you feel that little resistance, you kind of know something is not right and you got to get in alignment. But when you're in alignment, you're the most joy, you can be the most good, you're the most happiness, have the most happiness, and it really does feel good, when you're inside, when things are in alignment. And if things aren't in alignment, be good with saying, no, I'm not doing that. Or saying to a client, no, you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be good with that, because you got to know another better client will come along.
Yeah.
Life is too short to be stressing out.
Yeah, I love that. So let me first say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I know we're in overtime, but you have a heart to give. You have a heart to serve. You show up and you always play full out. I always admire you year after year after year. You're certainly one of the folks that's on my bar, like, God, one day I want to be just like her. That's the truth. I've never said it, I don't think, on this show, but what you do is just impeccable and it's incredible. For those folks that are out there and they want to be able to connect with the one and only Pam Perry, you can go over to PamPerryPR.com. Again, PamPerryPR.com. And that's one way to connect with her, see more about her and so forth. But then there's also another website that she gave, because for some of you, you're like, this is my time. Some of you, matter of fact, write that right below the video. Now is the time. Now is the time. And you know now is the time for you to reach another audience. You know now is the time for you to get onto bigger platforms, bigger stages. Now is the time for you to use PR for what it was designed to do, which is take you to places and spaces you could never get in yourself. Then go over to Ready, Set, Go, Speak. I think that is Ready, Set, Go, Speak.com. Yeah. Check it out for yourself. Okay, if you have any questions, contact our office, okay? But at least go to the site and check it out. I want to turn over to you, Pam, to have your final thoughts, final comments. I'm so thankful you're willing to do that. Some folks can't do that because they got busy schedules. But you say, you know what, Shay? I'll take some time and I'll share my final words to encourage or inspire folks that are out there. So let me again say thank you. I appreciate you. You're amazing. You're incredible. Can't wait to connect with you again and get that magazine. Everyone get the magazine. Oh, it's amazing.
Yes. So what I want to say is that when you have a heart and you're mission-minded and you really have a calling to help people, don't feel like you can't market. So Couch to Podium. So give the example. So Dr. Laura is really a therapist. She's a therapist. And she could be a therapist, went to school and all that. She's a doctor and she could just do therapy. But she has to go and get out there to a podium to speak to people so they can hear her brilliance. And that attracts clients. So if you have a message, you're doing the world a disservice if you don't market yourself and get out there. And so I just want to say, it's not about you. It's about the people who you're trying to serve. You don't need to be the best kept secret in the world. You need PR. You need to speak. You need to get out there and do the things so that people can know what it is that you're bringing, your gift. So that's the main thing I just want to say. If you're a minister, especially people kind of feel like, oh, I'm just so humble. You know, God will uplift me. Yes, God will uplift you, but you cannot say, put your light under a bushel. You've got to make sure that your light shines, that the little light shines. So you've got to get out there. So I want to say, if you need to learn how to do that, get to conferences, get mentors, join programs, listen to podcasts, whatever you need to do to get that information in your brain, to train your brain to learn how to market yourself so that you can share your message with the masses. That's the bottom line.
Right, man. Thank you so much. With that being said, thank all of you for watching, by the way. Every single one of you watching, I want you to know that you're amazing. I want you to know that you're incredible. And that for you, the best is still yet to come. You can use PR to further your speaking. For you, today is your January 1st. You're going to get that book done, by the way. You're going to get that platform done. And that for you, the best is still yet to come. Why? Because you got PamPerryPR.com to support you. With that being said, for those folks that are curious, who's making all that noise, who's doing all that screaming, my name, that's my name. My name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things, how we connect again next time. God bless, and I wish you all of you success. Thanks a lot, Pam. You're incredible.
Thank you.
promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Check.
Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Man.
Got money on my mind, I can never
Man.
get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause all I do is win. If you doing it, put your hands.
Thank you. God bless.